Oh, are we putting this in the podcast?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, wait, we should officially start then.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know, I wouldn't know where to start. That was kind of confusing on my end.
Oh, I thought we were like podcast dude, just running gun. I don't know. Anyway, hey, welcome to The Drop with Frank and Brian, official episode number 2. I don't think I need to call them official episodes anymore because they're just episodes at this point.
They're just at this point they're just episodes, yeah.
Yeah, they're just episodes. So episode number 2. Welcome.
And we're done.
And that's it. So
yeah, where do you want to start it?
So we were talking about like coming up with just a topic, just each episode just start with a topic and see where that goes. And this time I think we're going to get into traveling. Car shows, traveling across country, what it takes, what it involves, all that good stuff.
Yeah, as we're sitting here while huge car shows are happening and we're not there.
Yeah, but you know what? This is a good problem to have because there is just so much stuff going on. Yeah. It's all sorts of great shows.
Yeah, and May, the month of May, even next year is going to be insane.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, because think about it. So you have mini nats at the end of April, right? So, and that usually rolls into Battle in Bama the first weekend of May, depending on when they have it. And then you've got Cruise to the Pines is in May. You've got Rolling in the Red Rocks is in May.
Oh, wow.
There's one of the largest C10 shows is in Texas happening this same weekend. And they want me to, which is the C10 Nationals.
Oh, okay. Where's that at?
It's Dallas.
Okay.
I think. So, like, I could be making money at any of these events, you know what I mean? Or being there getting content or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so next year, I'm hoping to talk to these show promoters and be like, hey, when are you throwing your show? Because I would like to be at most of those.
Yeah.
Mini Nats for sure. And then Cruise of the Pines. I mean, that's 4 shows. So
that's that's back to back to back. That's essentially being out for a month at car shows every weekend.
Well, I'm looking at my schedule now. In June, I don't have anything in June and anything in July. And especially out here locally, it's too hot. The show's basically shut down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can think of in California happening in June and July.
Not just like local stuff. I'm probably there's probably something that I'm missing, and someone's gonna be like, no, there's this going on. But as of right now. Usually, I guess one thing that usually goes down in June is the Southern California Mini Truck Council show. They usually do that in June, which is a show in Ontario, California, and it's hosted by the Southern California Mini Truck Council.
Yeah, yeah, and then Scraping the Coast is in June. I'm not going this year, and I don't know what's going to happen. Travel wise. Speaking of travel,
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to travel. I want to travel less, but there's reasons for that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't want to. I don't know. It's just hard to kind of say. Doing these back to back without a break is tough.
That's rough.
And it's not only rough on us; it's rough on our vehicles.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's where I'm at. Like, if my truck has 326,000 miles on it, if I drove to Scraping the Coast in June. And my truck breaks down, like say the motor goes out, the transmission and or the rear axle. Those are towable. You know what I mean? Like I'd have to get that either towed home or fixed there. And I don't know anyone out there that's going to fix a Nissan truck where I don't have to stay there for a whole week or 2 weeks or whatever, or fly home, go back and get it. It's a lot of money.
Oh, for sure.
Involved. But if it breaks down here in town, I'll just take it to my buddy's shop. Mm-hmm. That's not a big, or put it on the side of the house and drive my other vehicle. Mm-hmm. It's not a big deal. So that's like, it's not like it's a brand new truck that broke down on the other side of the country that's worth $40,000.
Yeah.
It's a truck that's worth $5,000. Yeah. And the cost to transport it back out here is about what the damn thing's worth.
Right.
So that's what I'm having the problems in my head,
Well, yeah, and those are all valid. I think what we need to start with explaining to our audience, if they don't know already, our truck situation. So you and I, we both have Nissan Titans. Yours is an 04, mine's an 05. Same. So we both have these trucks, and these are the trucks that we use to travel cross country in. And you started the conversation about like the maintenance that these things take. And mine, you mentioned, I don't know where some wood to knock on is, but my truck has had most of those problems that you mentioned. The rear end went out on it. That cost me $3,000 to fix. I've had all sorts of things, hiccups and stuff like that on that truck. Thankfully, none, like you said, none of them on the road. Actually, I was just
well, the hiccups that you've had are hiccups that a almost 20-year-old truck is going to have.
right.
Replacing suspension components and just those things that happen.
Yeah. Well, the rear end was like kind of like a surprise. Like
it was only a surprise because someone didn't check the fluids regularly. True. When you have a 20-year-old truck, check especially when you tow across the country on a regular basis, year after year after year. There's a little bolt on your axle. Take it out. Stick your finger in there.
Just check it. Give it a little.
Give it a little dip.
A little dip.
Yeah. And make sure there's fluid in there.
So thankfully none of that has happened on the road. The only thing, so we're kind of like tying all this conversation together. I think we'll talk, because you mentioned mini nats. I think that's the first thing we'll talk about our trip to mini nats. And actually that was the only like kind of major thing that happened to us out on the road is when we went back in 2019, we had a problem with the trailer, right? So the trailer, the axle had bent on it. It like just from years of taking it up and down the 10 and just all those crazy freeways, just it over the years just kind of smashed down and became like a U basically. So that trip, we started it, and what's funny is when I got to your house, so I leave SoCal, I get to your house and we're like loading all the stuff, and I kind of look at the rear end and I'm like, hey, I think I don't think this looks right. And your exact words are like, what are we not gonna go? And I'm all, that's an excellent point. So we climbed in that thing and we drove straight to Mini Nats. And when we got there, and when we go to Mini Nats, what we do is we drive straight there. I leave SoCal, I go to Phoenix, I pick you up, and we drive straight to Maggie Valley, which is a 40-hour trip, basically, essentially, by the time we're done with stops and everything. It's 40 hours, and we don't stop. So 19, we cruise out there, 40 hours nonstop. We get there, and that year we get to the hotel and it's like raining, and it's just like, okay, fine. We're super tired. We just park the trailer. We get in the room. We just crash out. I get up the next morning, get something out of the truck, and I kind of like glance at the trailer, just kind of like blurry eyed. And I look down and the entire inside of the tire is just gone. Like it's metal. It's just annihilated. And I'm like, oh man. And then that's when we figured out that the axle was bent. And then we had to, while we were doing the show, while we're at the show, setting up booths, filming, doing all of the stuff we were there to do, we had to like source an axle. We had to source leaf springs, and then we had to source someone to install all that stuff. It was an adventure. So that was,
and that doesn't even touch on the adventure that we did with Doug's trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Our buddy Doug,
trailer, his trailer. That's right.
His trailer. Yeah. But I think the overall thing with traveling and stuff is, it's not just these single instances which make up, with these crazy stories and stuff, but it's just like, why do we drive across the country in these old trucks? Why don't we just buy new trucks?
That's a good question.
Why don't we have a vendor trailer? Why don't we have if we're going to drive straight there and not get hotel rooms, why don't we buy an RV?
These are all valid points. Do we have an answer? I don't know.
So every time we do get in the truck, we go back and forth and like, okay, if we get an RV, this is how much it's going to cost. Then you have to store it. You have to maintain it. You have to do this. Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It would only make sense if we were driving across the country, towing a trailer, and every month, or even 2 times a month.
Yeah, even 2 times. Yeah.
Where like you look at like the guys from KIK, they're at shows like multiple times a month, but we're actually not. Mm-hmm. So it always comes back to, what's that noise?
Oh, that's my fan on my computer.
Oh, okay.
I can't do nothing about that. That's my computer saying, ah!
No, it's fine. I was just like, I didn't know what it was.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
But yeah, it always comes back to the thing that makes the most sense is just to drive these trucks.
Every time. I can't tell you how many literally sleepless nights I'm sitting there imagining these different things, building different scenarios, trucks, trailers, one of those, Sprinter vans all decked out, trailer, blah, but at the end of the night, or at the end of the thought, it always comes back to these things work the best. It's the most economical way to do it, but
And when you say economical, it's 100% not with fuel.
Oh, no,
because
no. I'm talking about like you said, if you got a big trailer or, like a Sprinter van, those things are like $100K, they're not cheap. So if you were to acquire one of these things and it was sitting realistically like 80-90% of the time,
Yeah.
it's just a money drain. So, unfortunately, like that's sort of like how we have to think about a lot of things as we go. Like it's this really interesting balance between going to these shows, creating content, selling merchandise, and having a lot of fun, and then the financial aspect of it. And we like kind of find this balance,
Yeah, and it would solve all of those problems?
What's that?
If we sold more merch.
If we sold more merch on our website.
If we on our websites and it shows. So don't buy anyone else's merch.
Buy our merch.
Just buy our merch.
And really quick, I actually have something to mention about merch and stuff like that. I just today got my banners in. So I took your advice and I created banners, and I took one of our most popular designs, which is our Low Rides, Good Vibes design, and I put it on a banner.
On a banner.
That word just went. So yeah, let's put it on a banner. So we'll have those soon on our website and available at shows.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, banners are fun. Everybody likes banners.
Yeah, they're like the grown up posters if you think about it. Right? I don't know.
I'm thinking about it.
You're thinking about it. Anyway, so back to what we were talking about, this whole traveling thing. So yeah, I mean, yes, we've thought of every single scenario, but I mean, we have to also kind of like look at the realistic picture that we are going to have to buy trucks at some point, because these things are not going to last forever.
Oh, mine's going to last forever.
Dude,
mine is a game. Now it is a game. When something's wrong with it, I fix it. I don't just let it. You know what I mean? Like, Go ahead with yours though.
Oh, I'm trying. I'm trying to do that. So anyway, so just like I've said, I've had to replace the rear end. I'm trying to. Everything else is blank. I like fall into these. Anyway, I've done a lot of different things to this truck, and I get in it yesterday, put in the key, and it goes dink.
Oh, mine always does that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, here we go. Now it's gonna need a starter.
Yep. Oh yeah, you might as well just buy a starter and just
have it on hand.
Yeah. Well, it's underneath the intake manifold too.
Oh, it's one of those. Oh.
Yeah. It's not very. It's just time consuming, but it's not difficult to do it.
And that's the other thing about our Titans is I think we're pseudo Titan experts, right? Because like we just know these things. We know all about our trucks and we know them inside and out, and we've done a lot to them. So, but also let's talk real quick about your Titan and kind of go into a little bit of deep dive about that. Mine is a stock Titan. I bought it brand new in 2005. I've had it ever since. The most I've ever done to it in the last few years or so is I repainted it. I plan on fixing the interior and stuff like that because it's got some rips. Our good friend Lindsay over at Service DVD.
Those aren't rips.
I know, those are not rips. I was going to say our good friend Lindsay Freeman over at Service DVD kindly pointed out it looks like someone took a bite out of my driver's seat.
and you have to think about it when I'm, as a wider person, driving your truck across the country and it is my turn to drive. Mm-hmm. You got to think of my comfort, man.
I know. I
need some bolstering.
There's 10% of the seat missing.
Yeah. You just fit in the other part of the seat. I need the entire seat.
So that seat is definitely formed to my posterior. Is that how you say it? Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take a picture of your seat and we're going to have to show everyone.
I'm fine. I'm transparent. I'll show everybody.
No, yeah, we're going to do it. Let's see, what is it? We're going to show the bad sides of us to make us better.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't mind. It's reality. I think what happens a lot of times, and I'm not calling out anybody specifically, but I think what happens a lot of times is, people get wrapped up in look, like they want to present themselves a certain way, which is good because you need to present yourself in a certain way. But with us, we're just sort of like, this is how it is. We'll talk about our 20-year-old Titans and
But you have to remember your truck is an extension of your personality. Would you walk around with half of your t-shirt missing?
That's true. That's a good point.
you are very aware of how you dress and how you look.
That's true. So maybe I'm being hypocritical. Slightly.
Never.
It's okay.
Never.
Hey, call me out. It's fine. I don't mind. It's cool. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll get there.
So anyway, so my truck, pretty much a stock Nissan Titan. It has been its whole life. But your Nissan Titan has had quite the life. So if you want
mine's been on an adventure.
It has.
It has been. I bought it in 2004. It had 4 miles on it, and I think I didn't even put 200 miles on it, and I lifted it on 35s with a CST lift. Since they were brand new trucks, the Titans, you know what I mean? Like CST was one of the only companies that made a lift kit for it. And then I drove it around like that for, I don't know, a couple of years, I think. And then I decided that for some odd reason, I wanted to make it a monster truck. So, made a good deal with my buddy, Simone, who was in the club, who owned a shop in Riverside.
That was ST Trucks, right?
ST Trucks, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because your Titan was in the ad, like bombing through the mud, right?
No, those pictures were. It's funny. So we'll get to that in a second. But no, those ads that were made, I made those.
Oh, okay. They were in Grindr.
They were for like an open house. Yeah. They were in the Grindr magazine on the back. So, but yeah, so he took it and took a bulletproof lift and chopped it all up with custom front, upper and lower arms and custom 4-link in the back and king coilovers all the way around, and it was like an 18-inch lift.
You got to throw up the picture of it parked in front of your pad when it's like level with the second story.
Yeah, and it had no steps on it.
You had to climb up in that?
Yeah, I had to open the back door, the suicide back extra cab door, grab the back seat belts, put my foot on the 4-link mount on the bottom, and then grab the steering wheel, and then get in the truck. So once I was in the driver's side, I could reach back, grab that door, and then shut that door, and then shut that door.
That's fun.
So I would pull it to spots and be like, oh, these people, look they're staring at my truck. They're like, no. They're waiting to see this fat guy get into this truck.
All right.
Yeah. And that was a couple of pounds ago, too, so I can't even imagine now. But yeah, so I ended up actually driving that for a while, but then when I left my job in 2009, it needed tires, and I didn't want to buy 40-inch tires.
Yeah, those tires were expensive.
So we ended up cutting the lift off because it was welded on and stuff, dropping the front off and swapping it with Holly Brewer.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, so Holly's truck,
which is a 2006 Titan. So her truck went from stock and she didn't do a body lift. She just did the suspension. So her truck was only on 37s.
Oh, okay.
But it was still big. And then now her truck is bagged.
Yeah, and then it went from your old lift on her truck, and then they went a completely different direction and then bagged it.
Yep.
So I don't want to go like too deep into it, but the Holly's truck, did it have the cowl paint before the lift or after the lift?
After the lift.
Oh, okay. Because I only ever saw it with it lifted with the paint on it. I never saw it before.
Yeah, it was just a stock whatever color it was. Yeah, now it's body dropped, and hopefully she'll be bringing it out soon.
Yeah, the thing is going to be so cool when it comes out.
And then now my truck just I still have the body lift on it. I never took that off. Mm-hmm. And then that's it. And I have driven that truck from towing, mostly towing, because I used to tow the airbag trailers all over the place to deliver them. But it's been to Montreal, Canada. It's been to Miami. It's been to Jacksonville, Florida. It's been to Staten Island.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been Washington. It's been everywhere.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's the deep dive on your Titan, and we still have them, and we're still rolling them, and we're about to roll them. Are you taking your OBS, or are you taking the Titan next weekend?
Oh, the Titan. The OBS is just it doesn't have AC, and I don't want to put AC. I don't want to replace the parts until after it gets bagged and stuff. And that's one thing that someone mentioned. We didn't even talk about our vehicles much.
Oh yeah.
After that last. Yeah, kind of. But like you went into like your old OBS and stuff. But after that last episode, I started thinking about all the gaps that we left out.
Yeah, I know. There's tons.
After like talking about our history and all that stuff, I finally started going through my old VHS tapes.
Yeah, you've been sending me some pictures of those.
Yeah, and if you follow the Grinder TV story on Instagram, I've been posting some little clips of... Because what I have to do is take this VCR, play these tapes, put this little tape in this bigger tape.
Uh-huh. Put it in the VCR.
Put it in the VCR. I have to play it and watch it all the way through to record it onto the computer. So
Wow.
I've got all these tapes. It's going to take a long time to do it, but
it's kind of cool. It's really cool just to sit back and just see how things were.
oh, and I recorded everything.
That's
Not just truck shows. I recorded parties.
Dude.
It's going to be... I don't know how I'm going to put these out.
Statute of limitation, 1996, that's pretty far, right?
Yeah, and I think the last thing I recorded was a block party in 2002 when Jamie was hopping his truck on air.
Oh, that Toyota that he had?
Yeah, Tacoma.
Yeah, that was sick.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to go through all these and somehow library them out and then figure out if I'm going to upload them or how I'm going to do it. But, yeah.
So, with those tapes, the one of the first things that you showed me was your first truck, your Toyota.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 86 Toyota pickup. That's what got me into mini trucking. And when you saw it, it was primered purple, fully shaved. It had all kinds of crazy mods done to it because at the time I was working at a custom body shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was funny because we did that. We shaved that one and primered it purple, and we shaved Ernie's and primered it green. So me and Ernie would always show next to each other. I would have my purple mini truck, and he would have his like green mini truck.
Was his
Mitsubishi?
Was it Mitsu?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. That was before, or was that the same truck he took the roof off of? I don't know. I can't keep up, but
So that's cool.
Yeah,
so that was your first truck.
yeah.
Where'd you go from there?
Where did I go? Oh, I bought my Tacoma that I
Oh,
still
really?
have.
You went from that Toyota to your Tacoma. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 97. 98. I bought my 97 Tacoma, which sits in Dallas now. And it's either going to get finished there or we're going to bring it out here and finish it out here. Something will happen to that.
You want to know something I just realized? And we talked about this, I don't know, in the pilot or the first episode about the first time I met you. That was the very first time I met you. I remember you were selling a set of, I forget what wheels they were. You were selling a set of wheels off your truck.
Ankies probably?
No, they were something else. Maybe they weren't off that truck, but they were just some wheels. So anyway, I don't even know how I found this. Is like MySpace, maybe even before I don't know. It was a long time ago. So anyway, we heard you were selling these things. So me and my buddy, we drove down there. We were going to buy him for his Ranger. That's when I first met you. But at the time, the point is you were body dropping your Tacoma in your garage at that time. When I came down to pick up those wheels, you were in the middle of body dropping that truck.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, we had no idea what we were doing, and I just. Funny thing is I body dropped that truck, and in the middle of body dropping it, I moved.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
so you had to take this.
So I had to take this truck with like no, bed on it or anything like that, and move it and get it set up again in my new garage. And that's a story in itself when we got that truck done.
And then the first time I saw that truck body dropped, running, and put back together was Rezo 2002, 2003. Rockahula. Yeah, Rockahula Park, and that was the first time.
Yeah.
That I saw it.
We finished that truck and drove it to Rezo that same day.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm in the truck. Buddy's in the truck, and I'm like, we cannot listen to the radio. We cannot do anything.
You gotta listen.
We just have to drive.
Uh-huh.
And it was freezing cold, and I notched out where the steering goes, and I didn't plug it so cold air is coming in. No heater because I never plugged in the heater lines. But yeah, it made it, and I daily drove that truck for a long time.
While it was body dropped?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Conventional body drop too.
Yeah.
To the rockers.
So then from there, you took it back apart to paint it, right?
Did I sell it?
Well, I remember you painted it.
Oh, yeah. So I had a guy, that's right. So I had a guy, I paid a bunch of money for a guy to paint it. He ended up screwing me over. I sold it to a guy in New Mexico, and then I bought it back years later. And basically have it now. It's gone through a couple reiterations, like suspension stuff, but I finally dropped it off at Sean's in Dallas to have him.
Sean who?
Sean from Suspension Dimension.
Mm-hmm. Sean Thurman from Suspension.
Sean Thurman. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to coach you through it, but a lot of people, they're like, who?
Yeah, Sean Thurman from Suspension Dimension.
Yeah.
So it's out there now. So if he's got some time to do it, he's going to do it. If he doesn't, then we're going to bring it out here eventually and get it rolling again.
Do something. Yeah. So like that history to now kind of go into mine with vehicles and stuff like that. That you have basically had like 2 or 3 vehicles.
Yeah, I've had multiple.
Oh wait, yeah, you've had tons of trucks. Yeah, you've had tons of trucks.
Yeah, the graffiti Frontier. I've had the other bag Tacoma that had flames on it. Body dropped OBS. Yeah, so I've had stuff in between.
What am I talking about? You've had tons of trucks.
Not tons, but nothing that I really like kept for a long period of time like these.
So my thing is I had many trucks, and I won't go over every single one of them, just maybe the highlight ones. And in the last episode, I talked about my OBS. That was my very first truck. And from there, I went down this rabbit hole of trading. And the desert where I'm from, the high desert, it's very small. So everybody knows everybody, especially all the truck clubs and the truck club guys. So we were in this like perpetual circle of trading trucks. And I fell victim to that. And I started with my blue OBS, and I traded that for an S10 that was shaved. And then from there, I traded it a few times. So I went from having a pretty clean OBS to by the time I told myself to stop doing it, I had this 86 hard body that was body dropped. And it was a pile. It was so bad. It was just like so bad. So anyway, so I've had a bunch of trucks in between. And the highlights were my OBS, the S10. And then what's funny is when I traded the S10, I traded it for a Mazda. And actually traded it for this really clean Mazda. It was pretty crazy. It's hard to describe. I'll throw up a picture of it. It had like almost like someone did like every kind of paint like theme you could imagine. This thing had tribal on it. It had ghost flames. It had regular flames on the hood. It was half pearl white and half pearl purple. It was just this crazy paint job. So I traded that truck for that. And then so once I was done with that truck and I was going to trade again, I was like, I want a Toyota. I want a Tacoma. That's what I want. And I proceeded to get 5 more Mazdas. and I still haven't owned a Tacoma. And I've had all these different kind of Mazdas. And I've had like we talked about the 83, the white one, but I've also had old Cadillacs and stuff. So I had a ton of cars too. But as far as like truck stuff at one point I had 4 Mazdas. And
well, if you have 4 Mazdas, sell them all and go get a Toyota.
That's what I did. So that kind of like that brings me to the realization, the revelation, so to speak. And so by the time I got that, actually got rid of that hard body and I picked up another Mazda. So I had this other Mazda, and that one, I actually put some time into that one. I made that one, ride good, and I put some time and effort into that one. But at the time I still had my Mazda. Angie had a Mazda. So Angie had a 91 standard cab Mazda on hydros that she actually daily drove from the high desert to Long Beach to go to school. I had a 61 Cadillac and I had my 83 Cadillac. So I had like 4 okay cars, but I just was done with doing little on this one. I was like, okay, I need to stop. I need to concentrate. And that's when I had the idea to build the 4Runner. And that's when I got the 4Runner. So as soon as I got the 4Runner, I sold everything. I sold all the Mazdas, sold the Cadillacs, only kept my 83. So I sold everything and was going to concentrate on this 4Runner. And that's the 4Runner I have now. And to bring me to another point, and I've just recently come to this, another epiphany or revelation, if you want to say it. Like, I was like, I need to, because a lot of people know, and I've been looking for a Tacoma. So I've wanted a Tacoma for a long time. So I was kind of putting all the feelers out there. So guys from the club were like, sending me links and checking stuff out. And I came across Bako Dave from our Bakersfield chapter, Forbidden Fantasy. He sent me a link, and it was a clean Tacoma. I was like, oh man, this might be it. It was a 98, new paint, new interior, ran good, was a good price. He wanted 65. He told me he would take 5 for it. So I'm like, I'm rushing around. I'm like, okay, all right. I got to put this thing together. And then I just thought, like, wait a minute. You have the 4Runner. You already have this thing that looks cool. It just needs to just a little bit more to be done. So I told myself, Frank, concentrate. So
you probably at that point should have just bought that Tacoma and put it away.
Yeah.
Because that Tacoma will never be $5,000.
I know it was a really, really good deal. So
yeah, that is a $8,000 truck now, and it's only going to go up from there.
I know. Well, I'll give the secrets out there. Hit up Baco Dave at Old Man. I don't even know his Instagram, but hit up Baco Dave. He'll give you the link and go swoop that thing up because it is a really good deal.
Fast forward to what I have right now. I have this 95 OBS truck that I got off of Eric in our club, Eric Almedia. Is that how you say his last name?
I don't know. He's just Eric. He's just handsome Eric.
Just handsome Eric is what we'll call him. Anyways, he had a OBS, and Eric had an addiction to buying cars. And I was like, oh, cool, you got this OBS. He goes, dude, I have so many cars. Give me X amount of dollars and you can have this thing. So I was like, cool. Because if I have an OBS, I can take that truck to mini truck shows and to like Dino's or, you know what I mean, a Chevy truck show. I could load up my booth with it, load up my booth in the back, and take it to wherever and be comfortable driving it. So I was just thinking in my head, do you think that since you want to take the 4Runner to Mini Nats,
I do.
Do you think we could fit our booths in the bed of that truck, also inside your 4Runner, in and around your 4Runner, and tow that to Mini Nats next year with the OBS?
I think we could 100% do that. And I am 200% down. I don't even think that's a thing.
Now,
but
it might, depending on what gas looks like then, it might cost us a little bit more in gas, but start saving your pennies because I'm going to try to get that truck done for Dino's and then try to get the paint and body work done. Cool. The paint and body work done for the beginning of the year next year.
Dude, that'd be so sick. That'd be so cool. And that'd make great content.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be amazing content. And that kind of is a good segue into, because we kind of got off track because we at the beginning of the show, we said we're going to start talking about traveling, which we did a little bit, but we kind of got sidetracked.
Oh, we're still talking about traveling. We're just talking about in the future now.
That's future. Well, let's talk about the past. Let's talk about Mini Nats. Going to Mini Nats. We went to Mini Nats, about a month ago now. We went to Mini Nats, right?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
And that was awesome. That show is so cool. That show is really, really cool. And I don't know. Let's talk about the trip. How it went
so you want to talk about the shows or the traveling?
I think it's the same thing because like we start with the traveling. Like I said, come pick you up. We did the same thing this year. I leave SoCal, hit Phoenix.
Traveling though is so different though because if you're talking about traveling in general, we don't just go to Mini Nats. You know what I mean? Like traveling in general is when it comes to me and you. If we're traveling together, it's usually you drive to my house, stay the night, and then the next following morning. We're either driving to LST or we're driving to Mini Nats. But if you want to talk about Mini Nats specifically,
let's start there.
Then we can do that. Yeah. So go ahead.
So it was out of here to you, and then we mobbed out. That was a rough one. Like they've all been kind of rough, but that one was like a little bit rough. More rough. I don't know why.
I think. Okay, I used to be able to get in my truck and drive straight to Battle and Bama or Orange Beach Invasion, we've even done a straight drive to Florida.
We did do that. Yeah, that's right.
And I've even recently drove a straight drive home from Florida as recent as 2019. I don't know if it's getting older. I don't know what it is, but I don't do that anymore. And not only because not that I can't, I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And driving when we drove out to Mini Nats, I mean, you saw it. Like I was just not about it. You did 80% of the driving. You know what I mean? I would get in that driver's seat and just like, I'd be like, I'm not about it. You know? I want to get to a hotel by midnight and crash out and have a good night's sleep. And I just think it's better for the mind and it's better for when you get to the show too, because we're so scatterbrained. Yeah,
we're kind of cooked when we get there.
Yeah, and if you don't get that, and you're right into it. So we got to Mini Nats. We left my house
We left Wednesday morning about 8
o'clock, and
we rolled into the show about, I think it was like 11 local time Thursday.
Yeah, it was 9 o'clock North Carolina time.
Oh, 9 o'clock local time.
Yeah, local time to us 11. So yeah, and we got
the other way around. It's later there.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. Well, it was 9 o'clock North Carolina time.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, because I remember Jason, who throws the show, says you have to be in by 9. And I messaged him, and I was like, we'll be in right after 9. Anyways, we got our stuff set up, or dropped the trailer. We set up the easy ups too, huh?
Yeah, we kind of got everything sort of like set up.
Because we didn't want to do it in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but when I'm setting up my booth, it takes me... I'll like set up 2 t-shirts, and then I'll go set up some hats. And then I'll go set up this. And I'm like, I cannot concentrate on it. And if I don't get sleep, it's even worse.
Makes it worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of, and then like talking about setting up, that was a little bit different for me because like you have a pretty much the same setup at every show. Yeah. Tables, bodies, shirts over the bodies. So ours has been for many years a little more complicated than that. We set up like a grate system using these like metal, like I guess grates is the best way to describe them, and then put like hangers. Put hangers like an arm. That's what I'm looking for. Put an arm out with hangers on it and hang our shirts. So ours is a little bit different. And the reason that's feasible for us is because I always have Angie with me. When we travel to shows, I'll fly Angie out. We'll pick her up at the airport, and then she helps with the whole weekend putting it all together. So this year was a little bit different because I didn't have Angie with me, just because the everything was just crazy expensive. So not only gas went up, but like airline tickets went up as well. So what would have cost us like $300 to fly Angie out there was going to cost like $1,000.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, that wasn't going to work. And so, I was faced with, okay, well, I got to do this on my own. And so I decided to adapt your style of booth, which is tables, bodies, and shirts over the bodies, which actually worked out great. It went really smooth.
Yeah, the way you set your booth up is awesome. I've always liked it because it's like a store.
Right. Yeah, that was the feel we were going to. Because Angie has worked, she isn't anymore, but for most of her life, she worked in retail, so she had tons of retail experience and just kind of knowing the little different, things about retail. So she was kind of like the driving idea behind all that.
Yeah.
So not having her and then setting it up, but it worked out. It worked out well. So if like, you set up one thing at a time, I'm like different. I have to like get everything. So like it's me setting everything up and getting it all laid out, make sure the hats are out and everything like that. So,
yeah, the reason that I do that is because one, it's usually just me at these shows.
Right.
So if I need to run out and film or something and come back, if someone's going to watch my booth, I need to make it as simple as possible for them to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And 2, it's compactability.
Yeah.
Like you don't even essentially need your trailer anymore if you kept setting the booth up like that.
I realized that like it really compacted everything down in there.
Yeah. So moving forward, traveling wise, depending on what types of vehicles either you get or I get, if you have that option to set that booth up like that, we can compact it down. Like if we want to take the OBS and take the 4Runner.
That's probably what the way we're gonna have to do it, which is great. I mean, it works out really well to make that happen.
Yeah, because you could take the easy ups and tie those to the trailer, behind the 4Runner, one in front of it, and then the tables can go in the truck with all the other stuff, and then you can put totes and stuff inside the 4Runner.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
Yeah.
So that was Friday. So we get there Thursday, long drive. We get there Thursday night. We kind of get set up. We go into Friday. And that show was cracking. Like right off the bat, that show was just going off. Like so much so that like I said a few times at the show, like Friday felt like Saturday.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy. And it's such a cool show.
It is. I mean, there was people already set up on the side of the streets on Thursday when we got there, you know what I mean? It's if you've never been there, it's in a town called Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Small town, but tons of hotels that line the highway. It's a 4-lane highway with a suicide middle lane. So
it's basically in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains.
It is. Yeah. And there's people already set up their spots outside with their chairs and their RVs and stuff like that on Thursday night to watch the quote unquote like parade of vehicles that go on Friday and Saturday.
Which is cool because it's sort of like, and this was just our observation, so there's nothing official behind it, but our observation was the show sells out pretty quickly. So they open up the pre-reg and those things go like fast. So the show fills up pretty quickly. But now people are like, well, even if I don't get into the show, I want to take my truck. I want to go cruise in it, go check out the show, enjoy the show, check out the show, but then also get in their own truck and cruise. So it's morphed into this like thing where it's like the show and then like this whole other thing that's the cruise.
Yeah, it reminds me of an event called Southern Worthersea that used to be in Georgia, actually not too far from Maggie Valley. The towns look almost identical. You know what I mean? They're just these small towns in the foothills, and people cruise up and down. But yeah, the show almost becomes secondary to the actual cruising part.
Right.
Not
yet at this show though.
Not yet at this show for sure. But what was cool with the Southern Worthersea is you had like different meets around this. They would go up to the dam at this lake and have like some sort of like golf meet, you know what I mean? And then whatever other type of Volkswagen, they would meet in another area. And so throughout the whole 4 or 5 days that people were there were different meetups throughout the town based on different things. So
you would have
you'd have like a Toyota Tacoma meet.
Yeah.
Down at the Ghost Village on Thursday night, Tacomas only. You know what I mean? Or you would go somewhere else and like remember that casino that's not too far from Maggie Valley? You have like a Nissan hardbody meet or Nissan truck meet. So there's all these events.
Everybody's listening to this and they're like writing it down like, oh, okay.
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. No, but the show was great. Friday felt like Saturday and the whole weekend was just going off. And again, as always, thank you to everybody who came by, said what's up, bought merch, hung out a little bit. We really appreciate you guys because that's what keeps this whole thing going. Us going to shows and making content and filming. Everything hinges, and it may be a little put on, but everything hinges on selling merchandise. You know? If we're selling merchandise, then that means we're going to shows.
Yep. That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. It sounds like some old news typecasting.
Oh man, yeah. It was crazy too. Is like Friday was so busy, Saturday was so busy, and Sunday just felt like it was so chill.
Yeah, it was super chill on Sunday.
It was just like a whoosh, I don't know, like a breath. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, we're getting ready to leave. To me, this goes back to the traveling part, but to me, one of the best feelings about going to an event is leaving the event.
Yeah, that is a good feeling. And that's like, I think we need to kind of maybe explain that feeling a little more. And just from my perspective, but it's not like I can't wait to get out of here. It's like this awesome weekend just went down. Everything was cool. Great show. And you're like, okay, now we can just go home.
Yeah. And I don't know if that feeling translates to everybody.
Right.
Because if you just take your truck to a truck show and you party all weekend and then you wake up Sunday, like, I don't know if it's the same feeling, but for us, it's like the traveling to get out there is a huge part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then setting up the booth, doing the booth, filming, making sure you got enough content. And it doesn't stop with us, especially at a lot of these shows where, I mean, we woke up on Friday morning at like 5:30 because we wanted to get there early. So we get there early. We're walking around filming stuff. And or was that Saturday morning?
That was Saturday morning because we had already been set up.
That's right. Yeah. So get there super early. Say I think it was like 6:45, 7. Start filming. Set the booth up. Film and sell. Work the booth all day. And then you don't want to miss out on the cruising. Right? So you have to. You can't just leave. And go back to your Airbnb and chill.
Yeah, it's like always going on.
Yeah, it sucks because some of the guys in our club, at least that were there, were like, "Hey, let's go to dinner and stuff." And we actually drove all the way to the spot to get dinner, and I was like, "We got to go. I'm not going to go sit down and go to dinner. I need to get footage."
Right.
And I know you need to get footage.
Yep.
And we're trying to help each other out and to get enough footage for 2 videos.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been fine to go eat in there and then come back and get footage for 1 video.
Mm-hmm.
But no, so I was like, "Nope, we're leaving." So we went back and drove up and down the street for however many hours,
until like 11 at night. Yeah, it's a constant thing, and that's like, again, that like what I was talking about earlier is that balance. Like, it's fun, it's a ton of fun, but there is like so much work that is involved in it, and you need a That's the right word I'm looking for. You need a lot of motivation to do it. You know, it's too easy to go, you know what? It's too easy to just go, you know, we're just going to sit here and drink beers at this restaurant and we'll figure it out. But it takes a lot of motivation to go like, no, we need to get back, or wake up at 5:30 on Saturday morning because we need to go get that footage and go open up the booths. And so, you know, and it's not trying to make it sound like, you know, it isn't fun, because it is a ton of fun, but it is also a lot of work, you know?
Well, it's our full-time job.
It is.
Yeah, so you know, we do that all on Saturday or Friday night, cruising, get back to the Airbnb late. Same Saturday, wake up early, get back to the Airbnb late, and then Sunday's nice because you don't have to wake up early, because you know not everyone just kind of sleeps in and then just kind of rolls in whenever they want. And a lot of people, and I'm looking at everyone that did this, especially vendors, leave on Sunday.
That's a lot of people have a tendency to bone out early.
Yeah. That show, when the show is 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, you should stay Sunday. Yeah, stay set up until the end of the show, because that's a show day.
It's a show day. The people putting on the event are there. You know, they want you to be there. You know, like they're putting all their effort into it, and you know, you should hang out.
Yeah, and I have a little bit of a hang-up on this. It's a personal hang-up, because at the Forbidden show, it was always a one-day show back in the day. Most West Coast shows were one-day shows. I started going to East Coast shows, seeing how the 2-day shows, how much fun they were. So we tried to do that with Forbidden, make it a 2-day show. And then when we moved it to the Avi in 2016, we really wanted it to be a 2-day show because it's more of like a destination vacation type thing.
Right.
But people would try to leave. They would harp on us to get the best parking spot possible, the best vendor booth space possible, and then they would try to leave first thing Sunday morning. And it's like, if you're just going to be there for one day, not the entire show, we're not going to give you that best spot.
Right.
So don't try to. And they would sneak out, because they would be like, you can't leave on Sunday. And I would wake up early Sunday morning and I would watch people drive out of there, sneak out.
They always do. You know who you are.
Yeah. Daniel from No Regrets. When I caught him sneaking out, where you going? He was like, "Oh, just move my truck over here."
Yeah, just a few feet over.
Yeah. No, but it's so. Anyways, back to mini nats and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just talking a little bit of
go on a little rant. It's fine. That's what this is for.
But after that whole weekend and that whole everything, when you shut that trailer door or you shut your tailgate and you're like, we're ready to start going home, to me, and I remember the feeling, the best feeling I ever had was when we did our 2-week stint.
Yeah.
We used to mini nats, and then we would stay a week in either New Orleans or Nashville, and then go to Battle in Bama. So it was 2 huge shows back to back, setting up the booth back to back, tearing it down back to back, not being home, you know, for this long. And I remember that first Battle in Bama that we did.
That was also
you shut that trailer.
That was also the Battle in Bama with the tornado warning, so that was extra stress.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff going on. But I remember that Sunday when we shut the door on the trailer and we were like, we're going home. It's
a good feeling.
It's an indescribable feeling to me.
Yeah, no. I totally feel the same way. And especially like when I get home, like that's another good feeling. When I get home, and again, this is where people can kind of see a difference in what we do, and I don't want to say like normal people who just go to shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what we do from our perspective is, since this is our full-time job, it's not like we're dreading coming back because we got to go to work on Monday. It's like, now it's like, for me, that's, and this is my personal perspective, that's like that extra decompression. I get home, you know, I get up Monday morning or in my case, Tuesday when I get here, or Wednesday, whenever I get back to SoCal. Yeah. I get home, I send my kids off to school, Angie goes to work, and I'm sitting in my office and I just go, you know what I mean? It's a good feeling. So I know exactly the feeling you're talking about. But one funny thing that was interesting on the way back from Mini Nats is what we decided to do. And this is not going to be in my video. I don't know if it's going to be in your video. But so on the way out to Mini Nats, I think first of all we need to start with this. We as a group Brian and I, and also other people that we travel with, are obsessed with Buc-ee's. The gas station called Buc-ee's. They're mainly in Texas, but now they're spreading out into other things. You got them in Alabama. You got them in Louisiana.
Yeah.
They're starting to sprout up everywhere, but they're a Texas-based gas station. If you've never been to a Buc-ee's, Google it. Watch a YouTube video about it. There's tons of YouTube videos about them. It's an amazing place. We won't go into great detail about it, but we're obsessed. And on the way out to Mini Nats, we realized there are no Buc-ee's. However, there is one being built. There's one being built on the way out to Buc-ee's. But at the time, we didn't know that. So we're like, we don't know. There's no Buc-ee's out there. And usually that's sort of our treat, for doing all these trips and stuff like that. So after the show, you Google it and you're like, what is the closest Buc-ee's? And you found one in, I think it was Alabama.
Yeah.
And so we rerouted our entire trip home just to go hit a Buc-ee's. Because that's how obsessed we are.
Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about Hattie Bs. And our newfound obsession with
hot chicken sandwiches.
Nashville hot chicken or spice chicken, however you want to say it. So I'm sure everyone's seen that trend pop up, Nashville hot chicken here and there, but it's obviously started in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And Hattie Bs is one of the more famous places that has it, and it's just another great experience. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that we don't get to do out here. So when we go on these trips, we have these little things, and I advise that to anyone that goes on a road trip. Like, don't look up the unique things in the area that you're going and do those things. Don't go to McDonald's or don't go to
fine. And so about the Hattie B's thing, that was when you're on such an intense drive like that, and this is what you just said, you need a goal, right?
Yeah.
And obviously the show is our goal, but you need something a little more attainable and like a reward, So we're like, okay, Hattie B's, Nashville hot chicken sandwiches, that's the goal. And the whole time we're driving, we're just thinking about that, So that's one thing and so when we get into Nashville and we hit Hattie B's, it's like the checkered flags, like you made it, even though you still have 5 hours to go before you get to Maggie Valley, but still,
and we know the exact Hattie B's to go to.
Yep, the one that we can park the trailer in this little neighborhood is great.
Yeah, it's awesome. So and then
that Hattie B's, and then also you're talking about experiencing different things and traveling. That's one of my favorite things to do. And you were talking about how in years past we did the back-to-back shows. We went to Mini Nats, and then the next weekend we went to Battle, Alabama. The first year we did it, we stayed in New Orleans for a few days. The second time we did it, we stayed in Nashville for a couple days. And that is another thing I advise is like when you go to these places, and also to touch on it, like we also, whenever we go, we get Airbnbs. So we don't really get hotels, Airbnbs with, and usually I'm kind of scattered on this, but usually we bring our wives. So we have our wives with us. We make a little vacation. We go check out these cities. And what's really cool is when you get an Airbnb in the city you're staying in for a few days, for those 3 days, you become like a citizen of that city. It's rad. And you just want to you want to drive around and just go do those things. So like, and it's...
Well, we were, to go back to this Airbnb thing, I was like, when we first started talking about, going to Mini Nats, we knew we were going to go. So I was like, I'm going to book an Airbnb because we've stayed at hotels in the past. And, Airbnb, we both bring our wives. We want, you get a little bit extra space.
Definitely.
And
being on a road trip for 2 weeks, you need a little space.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, like, when we went to Mini Nats, instead of getting a hotel, I'm going to book an Airbnb. So I booked an Airbnb this time. And I was like, it's like a cabin in the woods. So we get to Mini Nats on Friday or Thursday, drop our trailer, and it's now nighttime. And I would go, okay, let's go to the Airbnb. So we drive down the road. It's 5 miles down the road. I was like, make a left right here. I'm like, right here? Yeah, right here. On this dirt road that is going up and down these mountains, and you can't see anything. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Pitch black. It's pitch black at night. Going down these the dirt road was the width of the Titan.
Yeah.
And luckily we had dropped off the trailers Thursday when we got there, because there was no way a trailer was going up into this road. I mean, we could have, but it would have been very difficult, especially...
We would not have had a good time.
Especially when we missed the drive and had to turn around.
Yeah.
That was such a pain.
We would not have a good time. It was an interesting thing. It sucks because my drone footage that I took it didn't come out.
Oh, that sucks.
As soon as it got above that, something happened with the ISO, and it just made it super grainy.
Oh.
So I don't know what happened. I got to look into that. But
yeah, that was an adventure.
Yeah, it was an adventure. And but yeah, I recommend Airbnbs if you can, especially when you go into places like Mini Nats or even Battle and Bama. You know what I mean? There's cool spots around there.
Yeah, for sure. That's one city we really haven't checked out. That's in
it's in Mobile,
Alabama.
Yeah, but there's like there's so many cool places around there.
Yeah, I've and maybe it's just because we've hung out in these cities, but I've fallen in love with like every city that we've spent an extended period amount of time in. Like New Orleans, that's one of my favorite cities. I love that place. That we had so much. Well, I had so much fun in.
I had a blast. No, I had a blast. I think we went at a really good time too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like it cooler. It's not super hot.
I think if we went, it was super hot. We might not have had the same experience, but
that was fun. Hanging out in Nashville for a few days. Nashville is super cool. That is a great city. Yeah. So I don't know. Like we've said before, me and cities and stuff like that. I just love cities. I love going to explore them and just finding out all the little weird stuff. I'm a weird kind of guy, so I like all the weird things.
But yeah, that's what's the next show we're traveling to?
We're going next weekend. We're going to Utah to Rolling in the Red Rocks.
That's right.
I'm pumped for that show. It's going to be fun.
I think it's going to be fun too. I think Will Rucker from Perfect Poise is going to ride with me out there.
Oh, cool.
Or something from out here in Phoenix. So
Eric, handsome Eric, he called me yesterday, and he's like, hey, we chatted up a little bit, and then he's like, oh, what are you going to the Utah thing? And I was like, yeah. I said, are you gonna go? And he's like, well, yeah, since Cruise to the Pines was canceled. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm like, yeah, because for those who haven't seen Eric's truck is really cool. It's a really cool truck. And actually, that is a good segue into another little thing I want to talk about. Is today is Friday. This show will be airing Monday. Will be uploaded Monday. But I just dropped the Forbidden Fantasy 2022 video, and that's the first show that Handsome Eric debuted his truck at. So he had a Tacoma. He bought it a few months ago, and Eric is amazing at paint work. The guy is really, really good at painting. So him and Matt Hutchinson from Matt Hutchinson's Designs, they got together and they did the graphics on Eric's truck. It came out so sick, and it was at the Forbidden Fantasy show. And check that video out. I think we're gonna upload this video on my channel, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this video is the video you're watching. If you're a viewing audience, the video you're watching is on the Kustom Life YouTube channel. So just it'll probably come up in the suggested, or go back to the main part of the channel and watch the Forbidden Fantasy video.
Yeah. You did something weird in that video. I want to ask you why you did it.
Okay, hit me.
So, I think maybe we'll probably do that right afterwards. No, because it has nothing pertaining to this. It's just an editing thing that I saw that I wanted to ask you why you did it.
Hit me with it. This is a good conversation.
No, I know, but I have to show you the video. It's not. It wouldn't be interesting in this. Aspect of it. It's just a person to person thing.
Well, since we're talking about the editing and stuff, I did actually do something different with that one. And this will get a little technical, so if it gets a little boring, I'm sorry, but this is a technical part of what we do. So, my main rig for shooting shows for the last couple years has been my DJI gimbal with my Canon camera and a wide angle lens. So I would put like a 10 to 18 wide lens on it. And that was because it was just because at the time when I figured this out, I was like learning how to use the gimbal. So it was kind of helping me a little bit use the gimbal. So I've done that for a couple of years. Well, this show, I decided to actually take my long lens, which is my zoom lens, and put that on there. So, and really get into, dialing in my apertures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so if you notice in the video, there's some nice shots where it's coming around the back of the truck and on a steering wheel, and everything's kind of blown out in the back or blurry in the back. So yeah, that's one thing that I did on this one that's a lot different, which was kind of scary because it's always scary, when you're at, so to kind of tie everything together, when you're at a show and you have your booth set up and you're out there filming, you want to make sure it's good. You want this footage to come out good so you can go back and make a video and upload it and continue the process. So when you take this new variable and put it in, it's kind of scary because you're like, I could do this whole thing and it could not look good at all. And we might have to can the whole thing, and especially with people, not relying on us, but expecting us to make content about these shows. It's kind of nerve-wracking. So at the Forbidden Fantasy show, when I decided to change up my rig and put a different lens on it, I was like kind of a little worried. I'm like, man, this might not turn out good.
Yeah.
Which actually I did make a mistake because I shot it in the wrong size.
You couldn't tell. I watched it earlier. You couldn't even tell.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I've had to do that plenty of times.
So yeah, so that video is uploaded. Rolling in the Red Rocks next weekend.
Yep.
We are just about. We're a little over our hour. We went over on this one.
Did we?
We did. We're probably at about an hour 20 right now. Probably a little over an hour.
20 minutes?
I think so, because this is my third 25-minute file.
Mine only records for an hour and 17, and I still have 10 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Well, then about that.
About that.
About that. So, yeah. Any final words, thoughts, concerns?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so there's Rolling in the Red Rocks, and then what is after that?
Actually, that's the slow part for me, at least. So I don't got anything going on. Well, local stuff. So June, like I said, we have the SCMTC show probably going down.
I'm talking about traveling, because traveling.
Oh, traveling. No,
yeah.
Traveling for me isn't gonna. Wait, what's going on in September? Oh, I'll be in Laughlin in September for the Seductive Lowdown.
Yeah, and then I'm going to see Tents in the Park that same weekend.
And then we'll link back up in October to go to.
We're going to Last Resort.
Last Resort.
And you've never been to Last Resort.
No, I'm excited for that one. That's going to be fun.
It's a good time. It's definitely a good time. So that'll be something new that we have not gone together to. I've been a couple of times, but yeah, it's definitely a good time.
That's why I'm so looking forward to Rolling in the Red Rocks, because it's a new show, never been to it. The for those who don't know, the Rolling in the Red Rock show is going to be, it's in St. George, Utah. And we're gonna do the show, or the show is gonna be held. I don't know the name of the area, but the show's gonna be held in one area, and then after the show, everybody's gonna go cruising through the Red Rocks. They're gonna go on a little cruise, so it's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So we're actually gonna have to record our next episode right before we leave.
I think, yeah, I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, there's some of these that we're gonna have to figure out if we want to drop them weekly, that we're gonna have to record them on Wednesdays or Thursdays, and then sometimes if we could even record these back to back at sometimes, and then at some point, and then just have a bank of them.
Yeah, we could do that too. We're still learning. So thank you.
We are still learning. So I want to give a shout out to Jason and the guys at Our Lifestyle Podcast. They gave us a shout out. And what was the one that you saw? The Kustom Scene.
The Kustom Scene. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Kustom Scene gave us a shout out too. So that was cool.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, but it's Frank from Kustom Life, not Keeping It Custom.
No, it's not Keeping It Custom.
Two different things.
Kustom Life, Instagram, Kustom_life, search Kustom Life, all with K's, of course. Kustom Life on YouTube.
Yeah. So all the comments and the shout outs that we're getting is really cool. It's,
I also asked people on Instagram earlier today if they had any questions for us. So maybe we'll just dive into that really quick. And no one asked anything.
No one cares. So we'll just say that if you ask questions on the videos, on the YouTubes, or send us an Instagram, either send it to Grinder TV or Frank at, what is yours? Keeping It Custom?
No.
Frank at Kustom Life's Instagram, my Instagram.
Or the
comment
official.
on these. What's that?
Or the official Instagram. The Drop with Frank and Brian Instagram.
So let's just do that. You have to send a message to the official Instagram, which is The Drop with Frank and Brian.
Mm-hmm. You have to, if you want to find, obviously the video podcasts are on our channels, which are easy to find. But if you want to check us out, wherever you guys find your podcast, you have to search the entire name. So it's The Drop with Frank and Brian.
Yeah.
Then you'll find it.
Yes, but I'm talking about if you want to send us questions.
Yes, if you want to send us questions, hit up the official Instagram, The Drop with Frank and Brian.
Send a message there. We won't respond to your question on the Instagram. We'll wait and respond to it here on the podcast. And then also comment on the YouTube channel. And we'll kind of skim through those comments. And if you have a question, then we'll pick out of there too. So I think that's kind of cool is people have questions. A lot of the questions that I'm seeing, which we'll get into on the next episode probably is which is kind of goes along with this episode, though, is like doing this for a living type thing.
Okay. We want to talk about that the next episode then.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. Right on. Well, thanks for checking it out. See you the next one. Later.